corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission.
Donald, if at any time you don't like what I'm saying, feel free to stand up and shout wrong while I'm talking.
Well, the night ending a little differently than the debate did, and we've got live Fox News team coverage this morning.
I opened my best bottle of wine for you last night, and you left a sip.
Wine 05.
You know what? I'm gonna drink it.
It's 8 a.m. on a Saturday.
So, this is just like a mimosa, except for it's got wine instead of champagne and no orange juice.
Well, pour yourself a big glass while you still can. Why there could soon be a wine shortage.
What?
Fox and Friends First starts right now.
Good morning. I'm Abby Huntsman.
And I'm Heather Childers. Thank you, as always, for ending your week and starting your weekend with Fox and Friends First. We really appreciate it. And we do begin with the race for the White House. Donald Trump heading to some key battleground states today after clarifying his wait-and-see approach on election results.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
And Hillary Clinton is out of hiding and on the road making a mad dash through the swing states.
But if you thought the showdown in Las Vegas was the final face-off, you were wrong. The two candidates meeting again right here in New York City.
Yeah, we've got live Fox News team coverage this morning. Garrett Tenney is following the campaigns from Washington.
But we begin with Patricia Stark with some tense moments at the Al Smith charity dinner. Patricia's also some good jokes, though.
Yes, there was. Good morning, Abby and Heather. Well, there certainly were some tense moments at the roast-style event, which drew 1,500 people to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel here in New York City. Clinton shaking hands with Melania Trump as she took her seat, but no warm welcome for her opponent. Cardinal Timothy Dolan seated between the candidates, joking it was the iciest place on the planet. On stage, Trump did draw some boos for calling Hillary corrupt, but turned the mood around with jokes about her email scandal and media connections.
Many people tell me that modesty is perhaps my best quality, even better than my temperament. Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me." And I got the chance to meet the people who are working so hard to get her elected. The heads of NBC, CNN, CBS, ABC. There's the New York Times right over there, and the Washington Post.
A tough act to follow. Hillary began with a dig at her own basket of deplorables comment before setting her sights on Trump.
I just want to put you all in a basket of adorables. You look so good in your tuxes, or as I refer to them, formal pantsuits. It's amazing I'm up here after Donald. I didn't think he'd be okay with a peaceful transition of power.
The night ending on a high note with Trump and Clinton shaking hands. The event also raising $6 million for children's charities throughout the Diocese of New York City. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Patricia. It was so nice to see them shaking hands.
Yes, it was. If it was sincere, we're not sure about that, though. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
All right, 18 days now before the election, if you can believe that. Both candidates turning their attention to critical swing states in a final push.
Garrett Tenney's live for us in Washington with the latest on the race. Good morning, Garrett.
Heather and Abby, good morning to both of y'all. And despite that handshake, Donald Trump is not backing down from his comments at the debate that he would not accept this election, but he is clarifying his position a bit. Yesterday in Ohio, Trump said he would accept a, quote, clear election result, but he pointed to the contested 2000 presidential election between George W. Bush and Al Gore as an example of why he's reserving the right to legally challenge a questionable result. Trump maintains, though, that he is going to win and win big on Election Day.
I would like to promise and pledge to all of my voters and supporters and to all of the people of the United States that I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Now, Hillary Clinton's campaign and her surrogates spent the day hammering Trump over his comments at Wednesday's night debate. And in Miami, Florida, President Obama said the Republican nominee's claims of a rigged election are dangerous and more than just the usual standard lie.
When you try to sow the seeds of doubt in people's minds about the legitimacy of our elections, that undermines our democracy.
And today, like we'll see until the election, both campaigns are all over the swing states, with Donald Trump in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, while Hillary Clinton holds an early voting event in Cleveland, Ohio. Heather Nabby?
A tight one in North Carolina.
It's an important one, too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Garrett.
Thanks.
You got it.
Well, breaking right now, the first American killed in the fight to take out ISIS in Mosul. Here is a live look at Mosul, where Americans are backing up Iraqi forces while they mourn one of their own killed by a roadside bomb. Troops now facing the fiercest fighting yet, including new threats from the sky. The terror group using drones to drop bombs. Now, this is some brand new video just in, showing rockets blowing up ISIS suicide bombers speeding towards troops. Iraqi, Kurdish, and tribal forces making rapid progress, though. They are now just 6 miles from the strategic city center.
Wikileaks has another October surprise, and this one for Hillary's running mate. The group tweeting this morning, "We have a surprise in store for Tim Kaine and Donna Brazile." One leaked email already revealing Brazile, the interim DNC chairwoman, may have leaked primary debate questions to Clinton's campaign. And this as more pay-to-play allegations emerge for Clinton's State Department. The then Secretary of State offered to speak to Morocco in exchange for a whopping $12 million donation to her foundation.
An NSA contractor accused of stealing enough classified data to fill nearly 200 laptops. The feds say that Harold Martin is responsible for what could be the largest theft of classified material ever. He was working for the same firm as famed NSA leaker Edward Snowden. Now, the stolen documents include top secret hacking tools that were previously for sale online.
And people in Virginia getting extra time for voter registration. A federal judge extending the deadline after a flood of last-minute voters crashed the state website, and a voter advocacy group sued over those glitches. The new deadline is now 11:59 tonight.
And now to a Fox Business alert for you. Driving danger. Thousands of cars recalled because their sunroofs could actually fly right off.
That's scary. Cheryl Casoni from our sister network Fox Business is here with what you need to know before you hit the road. Cheryl, good morning. This is frightening.
Good morning. Yeah, you want to have a sunroof. It sounds great, right? But you don't want it flying off on the road. That's a hazard. And Hyundai is now recalling about 63,000 sedans. These are 2015 and 2016 Sonata and Sonata hybrids. It's a bonding issue with the roof and the glass. You know, those panoramic sunroofs. Take it into the dealer. They will fix it. But certainly having that as a road hazard is a potential accident. So they wanted to make sure that they fixed it.
Yeah, and this one was big news. After 31 years, MetLife splitting from the Charlie Brown gang.
Snoopy, Charlie, they've been with MetLife for 3 decades, believe it or not. This is a 149-year-old company, we should say. They've been spending the company $10 to $15 million annually to license all the characters from Peanuts. And the commercials, of course, have been great. They're very iconic. But the company itself is getting out of the individual life insurance business, and because of that, they think they're really targeting now companies. They're going to be doing life insurance premiums, things like that for companies, and it's just a different, demographic. So the commercials are going to go away. But
come on.
I think they would still like Charlie Brown.
Yeah, how can you cut out Snoopy? It's un-American. Yeah. All right, so bad news for some wine lovers. Are we, running out of grapes?
Okay, hold on, everybody. Take a deep breath. This is rough news for all of us. Okay, yes. There is going to be a wine shortage. The 2016 vintage around the world, production is down about 20%. Those harvests, look, wine comes from what else? Grapes. Well, bad weather, whether it was frost or wind, rains, hurricanes, you name it, especially in South America and Europe, have really hurt the crops. And that is going to hurt the production in particular. Just in South America, the production is going to be down 5.3% this year. Now, there's one silver lining. The quality of the wine is still going to be good that is being produced. It's just going to cost you just a little bit more. So get out your wallet for that 2016 bottle. Back to you.
Wow. And get to the wine store quickly.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Cheryl. The time is now 10 minutes after the hour, and bus stop horror. The terrifying moments. An out-of-control SUV plows into children waiting for the school bus.
There is a baby under the vehicle. Okay. Don't move them too much. Don't move them. If you don't move anyone. Let them be still. Don't move them.
Oh, and how bystanders rushed in to lift the 6,000-pound car off a little girl.
Wow. And Donald Trump warning supporters about voter fraud. So just how common of a problem is this? Our next guest with an answer that may surprise you.
And law and order going high-tech. How police are now using drones to help catch criminals. Stick with us. About 15 minutes now after the hour, we're back with this brand new security concerns after Hillary Clinton's top secret slip at the debate.
Bottom line on nuclear weapons is that when the president gives the order, it must be followed. There's about 4 minutes between the order being given and the people responsible for launching nuclear weapons to do so.
Yep, you heard it there. The Democratic nominee giving away the nuclear response time to 70 million people watching the Vegas debate, and the move calling Clinton's judgment into question again. She was already under fire for receiving top secret classified emails on her private server.
Vandals caught on camera trying to steal a giant Trump sign. Watch this as they try to rip it down from a yard in Pennsylvania, but it doesn't budge. Now, that same night, a neighbor says that someone stole this $150 Trump sign from her yard.
It's our right. It's our First Amendment right. So, yeah, we were pretty angry.
Well, that woman then spray painting Trump on her lawn. Look at that. For a more permanent solution, at least until it gets mowed over.
Right. Tough mess with that. Wow, that's a big supporter. All right, well, speaking of Donald Trump, a warning about a rigged election as the Republican ticket urges supporters to keep their eyes and their ears open as they head to the polls.
But as it turns out, voter fraud isn't necessarily as big of a myth as his critics say it is. Washington Times deputy opinion editor Kelly Riddle is here with those cases, or look at some of them anyway. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, guys.
So let's begin with Virginia. A couple problems here. Dead people voting, also illegals voting in that state.
Yeah, and like you guys mentioned earlier on your show, that the pre-registration online went crashing down, which leaves a lot of people in the state worried about if they even can be registered to vote in this election. But there was a study done this month that found 1,046 illegal aliens were registered to vote in the state. If you look at that number, that was just taken in 8 counties in Virginia. That doesn't include Arlington and Fairfax County, which are the biggest counties in Northern Virginia and our Democratic strongholds.
Right. Well, and that's just Virginia. Pennsylvania, you look at that state, more than 700 citizens there voted twice. At least 86 illegal voters have been uncovered since 2013.
Well, that's in Philadelphia. So just in Philadelphia, and half of those 86 illegals voted, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Those are the people that turn themselves in. A lot of this is an honor system where you have to actually turn yourself in. It comes with when you fill out a driver's license. All you really need to do is check a box to say that you'd like to register to vote. You're automatically registered. And what these states are not doing is checking whether these people who are registered are legal or illegals.
All right, so
and 43,000 in that state actually are registered to vote there twice. So 700 did it. 43,000 can do it.
So moving on to Texas, you mentioned the problems with some mail-in ballots. They're having problems there, and something called voter harvesting. What is that?
So voter harvesting is when these fraudsters go out and they look at a specific geographic where they're not doing well, their candidate's not doing well, and what they say is they identify some groups like the elderly in nursing homes, or Hispanics who can't speak English in poor communities, and African Americans. And what they do is they mail in a ballot in their name, and then they go door to door saying the fraud can be they go door to door saying, I have a thing for climate change. Can you sign this petition, which actually is a ballot?
Oh, wow.
Or they say, it's like, you're leaning Democratic, why don't you just sign this? And that's a way to get out the vote, where these people might not actually go to vote on November 8th.
Wow. That is alarming. That is really tricky. All right, Kelly, good to see you this morning. Thank you for breaking that down.
Thank
Still
you.
a lot more we need to get to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
130 to 140 million people perhaps expected to vote.
All right, thank you, Kelly. So let's keep talking about voter fraud. Do you think this is a problem? And if so, how, and what should we do about it? Log on to Fox and Friends First, the Facebook page, right after the show to weigh in with the hashtag Keep Talking.
And the time is now about 18 minutes, specifically after the top of the hour. And are you missing an important piece of mail that you were expecting? This might be the reason why. The postal worker caught dumping bins and bins of mail into a ditch.
Why? So strange. All right, and what did the voters think about the final face-off between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? Well, Jesse Waters went to find out.
What did you think about the debate?
Well, the debate is going to be very hard. So what we got to do, we got to understand the debate of what's going on.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends First. School bus horror. 3 children now fighting for their lives after an out-of-control SUV plows right into them. Look at this scary scene. Bystanders rushing in to help lift the 6,000-pound vehicle off of a young girl who was trapped underneath.
There is a baby under the vehicle. Okay. Don't move them too much. Don't move them. If you don't move anyone. Let them be still. Don't move them.
Well, the elementary students waiting at an intersection in Louisville, Kentucky, when their school bus suddenly stopped. The driver behind it, swerving to avoid a crash, hit the children. The SUV driver did not have insurance or registration and has not yet been charged.
Horrible story. All right, listen to this one. A mid-air scare as a plane lands. Hazmat crews and firefighters rushing on board that flight. More than a dozen passengers were sickened by some sort of sweet smell as the plane was landing at LAX from Atlanta. 20 passengers reported feeling ill, but no source was ever found. Ugh, nothing worse than being sick on a plane.
All right, for all those folks who flew out to Las Vegas, it was a fierce face-off in Sin City, but who do voters think really won the final debate?
And who better to find out than our own Jesse Waters?
You guys having a good time here in Vegas?
Yeah, we are.
What's your shirt say?
It says buy me a shot.
How many shots have you had tonight?
Ow!
What did you think about the debate?
Well, the debate is going to be very hard. So what we got to do, we got to understand the debate of what's going on.
Honestly, I really don't care who won the debate because either way, this country's
Kiss your mother with that mouth?
Who won the debate?
Donald, for sure.
Go Trump!
What is wrong with you?
I'm going to say Clinton. She's been winning all the debates.
Hillary is pretty good. Donald Trump is pretty good.
One dog goes one way and the other dog goes the other way.
The question is, who's going to be the great president of the United States of America?
And this guy's saying, what do you want from me?
Did you watch the debate?
No, I didn't watch the debate.
Okie dokie. Hillary, here comes the Muslims.
Now there's going to be trouble.
Trump, here comes World War III.
Maybe there's going to be a lot of trouble.
We need a president like FDR.
Tell me why you like Hillary.
She keeps her composure. I like that.
Then why did she smash all her iPhones with a hammer?
Did she? Okay, well maybe I have a different opinion now.
Trump called Hillary a puppet at the debate. You think that punch landed?
Probably.
She's a total puppet. Terrible. Terrible.
They did not shake hands before the debate.
They didn't. Well, it's gotten to that point, I think.
You know who I am, officer?
No, I do not.
I'm Waters, and this is my world.
Now I know why they say what happens in Vegas should probably stay there.
I was going to say he apparently is under arrest as well.
Too funny. All right, the time is now almost 26 after the hour. And just when you thought there was nothing new to come in the Benghazi investigation, a brand new bombshell.
An email at the heart of the new quid pro quo scandal connected to the attacks, and it is now rocking the Clinton campaign. You are watching, as always, we hope, Fox and Friends First. I'm Heather Childers.
Thanks for ending your week with us. Good morning, I'm Abby Huntsman. It's currently 30 after the hour. And we do begin with the race for the White House. Donald Trump heading to key battleground states today after clarifying his wait-and-see approach on election results.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Hillary Clinton out of hiding meantime and on the road making a mad dash through some swing states.
But if you thought the showdown in Las Vegas was the final face-off, you were wrong. The two candidates meeting again right here in New York City.
And we have live Fox News team coverage for you. Garrett Tenney following the campaigns from Washington.
But we do begin with Patricia Stark and some tense moments at the Al Smith charity dinner last night. Patricia, good morning.
Good morning, Abby and Heather. There certainly were some tense moments at the roast-style event, which drew some 1,500 people at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel here in New York City. Clinton shaking hands with Melania Trump as she took her seat, but no warm welcome for her opponent. Cardinal Timothy Dolan, seated between the candidates, joked it was the iciest place on the planet.
Hillary is so corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission.
Trump's corruption not well received by some who thought it went a little too far, his dig that is. But Trump absolutely brought the House down with a joke at his wife Melania's expense.
Michelle Obama gives a speech and everyone loves it. My wife Melania gives the exact same speech and people get on her case and I don't get it.
The GOP nominee quickly acknowledging he was in big trouble for that one. A tough act to follow. Hillary also created some tense moments with a joke about Trump's friendship with Vladimir Putin and with a cheap shot to us here at Fox News and our friend Rudy Giuliani.
Donald really is as healthy as a horse, you know, the one Vladimir Putin rides around on. And we have Rudy Giuliani. As the saying goes, if you can't beat him, go on Fox News and call him a genius.
Rudy not looking too happy about that one. The night ending on a high note with Trump and Clinton shaking hands. The event also raising $6 million for children's charities throughout the Diocese of New York City. Back to you, ladies.
Here's Giuliani's face.
Definitely a worthwhile organization, though.
Oh, absolutely.
It is.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thanks, Patricia.
Well, it is back to the campaign trail for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton with just 18 days, Abby. 18 until the election. Well, the candidates, they are hitting the swing states pretty hard. Garrett Tenney joins us now live in Washington
with the latest on the race. Garrett, good morning.
Heather and Abby, good morning. Good to be with you and good to be with you at home. Donald Trump has been under a lot of criticism over the last couple of days for his remarks at Wednesday night's debate when he refused to say that he'll accept the outcome of the election no matter the outcome. Yesterday on the campaign trail in Ohio, he tried to clarify those comments a bit and said he would accept a clear election result, but that if the results were questionable, as they were in the contested 2000 presidential election, he was reserving the right to a legal challenge. Trump also continued to warn of a rigged election and told his supporters that voter fraud is a real concern.
The question of voter fraud came up during the debate. John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, was quoted in Wikileaks as saying illegal immigrants could vote as long as they have their driver's license. What I'm saying is don't be naive, folks. Don't be naive.
Trump's talk of a rigged election has been a focal point of attack for Hillary Clinton's campaign since the debate. And yesterday at a rally in Phoenix, Arizona, First Lady Michelle Obama hit the Republican nominee again over his comments.
When a presidential candidate threatens to ignore our voices and reject the outcome of this election, he is threatening the very idea of America itself. You do not keep American democracy in suspense.
Arizona is one of a number of key swing states in this election. The Clinton campaign is trying to turn from red to blue. And later today, Hillary Clinton will be in Ohio, where the polls are very close as well. In Donald Trump, he'll be holding rallies in North Carolina, in Pennsylvania, several other states where the polls are close. Heather and Abby?
Yeah, all must-win states at this point.
Every vote counts, so get out and do that. Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you, Garrett.
You got it.
Now to a story we're following very closely. Breaking right now, the first American killed in the aggressive assault to take out ISIS in Mosul. Here is a live look at the fighting there as Americans are backing up Iraqi forces and mourning one of their own killed by a roadside bomb. And this comes as we learn fighters for the terror group are dressing up in women's clothing as a last-ditch effort to make it out of the city alive. And brand new video just in showing rockets blowing up ISIS suicide bombers speeding towards the troops. Iraqi, Kurdish and tribal forces are making rapid progress hour by hour and are now just 6 miles from the center of the second largest city in Iraq.
250 people still trapped there. Well, the controversial quid pro quo email that you've heard about between Hillary Clinton's State Department and the FBI involves secrets about Benghazi. Now, the email at the heart of it mentions possible arrest connected to the attacks that left 4 Americans dead. But it also contains some redacted information that may have shown Clinton knew that it was a coordinated terrorist attack. According to emails from Wikileaks, the State Department tried bribing the FBI to reclassify the emails so no one would ever see it again to help cover Clinton's tracks. Well, the effort to extradite drug lord El Chapo Guzman, remember him, to the U.S., that is clearing another legal hurdle, apparently. A judge just denied another appeal that included 5 different requests. His lawyers now expected to appeal to Mexico's Supreme Court. El Chapo escaped from a maximum security prison through a tunnel, running free for 6 months before being captured. He's set to be extradited to the U.S. in January or February.
Listen to the story of flash rob. A group of teens stealing thousands of dollars and iPhones from an Apple store. Massachusetts police say they were in the store for less than a minute and were still able to grab 19 of their phones. Well, it's hard to see here, but the thieves cut the security cords on the iPhone displays before taking off with them. Police believe the group may be connected to a similar theft in September where 22 phones were taken.
Well, the time now is about 20 minutes until the top of the hour. And here we go again. Another drug maker accused of jacking up the price on potentially life-saving medicine. The sticker shock that's leaving cancer patients and their families fuming.
That's horrible. An outfit outraged thousands of teachers facing fresh fallout for making a statement in support of Black Lives Matter.
And a violent shark attack caught on camera. The terrifying moments. A cage is breached with a swimmer inside.
And that cage is supposed to protect them from the shark.
Apparently not. Swimming right through it. It is 2 minutes until the top of the hour. Before we leave the house, here's what's happening today. Just 18 days until the presidential election. The candidates hitting swing states hard. Donald Trump will hold rallies in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, while Hillary Clinton heads to Ohio for an early voting event. And Rolling Stone back in court facing a $7.8 million defamation suit over a retracted story about a gang rape at the University of Virginia. The writer admitting on the stand to mistakes in her reporting. And you're looking live at a rocket carrying an American and 2 Russian astronauts docking live at the International Space Station. The trio spending a little over 4 months conducting more than 250 science experiments.
Very cool. Time now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. First, the good. A bank has placed 100 lucky pennies across the country, and they're each worth $1,000. They're in 10 major cities, including New York and L.A. Ally Bank says all have been placed in plain sight in public places. Next, the bad. A postal worker under investigation for ditching a bunch of bins of mail in the woods in Georgia. Well, neighbors say they saw the worker drive up and dump thousands of pieces of mail. That's horrible. And finally, the ugly. An epic editing fail. Kendall Jenner and Gigi Hadid, they debut on W Magazine's cover, but the long-legged models each appear to be missing one of their knees. Editors going a little overboard with Photoshop for the magazine's 10th anniversary art issue.
See, now I thought it was on Instagram and they did it themselves with one of those.
They're so pretty.
Filters.
Why do you have to edit it so much?
Over-filtering.
Get it.
Oh, well.
Well, we're going to leave it there. Fox and Friends starts right now.
And have a great weekend. See you later. Bye.
Wait, did she just say weekend? It is Friday. I need a thumbs up, Pete.
Double.
It's October 21st. I'm Ainsley Earhart, and just one day after the final debate, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton sharing the stage again, this time for some jokes.
Hillary is so corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission.
Donald, if at any time you don't like what I'm saying, feel free to stand up and shout wrong while I'm talking.
Cardinal Dolan tells us what it was like being stuck in the middle of those two.
Oh, boy. And Donald Trump says he will accept the outcome of the election if this happens.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Well, the mainstream media is horrified, but what's wrong with waiting? We're going to take a closer look coming up.
That's right, and all eyes were on the Wednesday night's debate, right? Well, almost all eyes. One of these screens, take a look, it's not quite like the others.
Oh, I see it.
I think I see it. Where is it? There's one not watching the debate.
Yep.
But you're watching us, and we're glad you're here. It's Friday morning. It is Friday morning.
Woo!
Mornings better with friends.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Studio E. We've been in Las Vegas, and look who didn't make the trip back.
Brian decided to stay.
I got a late call. Brian ain't making it.
How are you, Peter?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you.
We're running on fumes here. We're like 2 hours of sleep, but we are so happy because it's Friday. The last debate is in the can.
So to
it's been a
speak.
fun week, though. I loved Las
That's
Vegas.
right.
It's been a blast.
Listen, if you were watching the Fox News channel last night, you saw a little of this, the annual Al Smith dinner. Al Smith was the first American Catholic to run for President of the United States and be nominated by his party. So they have this annual event. And every 4 years, it comes in an odd time. It's just before the presidential election. And what happens is, as you can see right there, the two major party candidates are seated pretty much next to each other with Cardinal Dolan right between them. So what's interesting is the headlines, when you get up this morning and if you still get a newspaper, it's probably going to say Trump booed at this event, a charity event for the big Catholic charities.
Right. So they get up and they roast each other. It's always a fun event. I've had the pleasure of going. I was there when Mitt Romney and Barack Obama were roasting each other. It's hilarious. So we're going to show you some of the highlights of last night and then talk about it.
Well, his was built with the hands of God, and nobody can compete with God. Is that correct? Nobody, right? That's right. No contest. It's great to be here with 1,000 wonderful people, or as I call it, a small, intimate dinner with some friends, or as Hillary calls it, her largest crowd of the season.
Donald, if at any time you don't like what I'm saying, feel free to stand up and shout wrong.
We have proven that we can actually be civil to each other. In fact, just before taking the dais, Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me."
People look at the Statue of Liberty and they see a proud symbol. Donald looks at the Statue of Liberty and sees a 4. Maybe a 5 if she loses the torch and tablet and changes her hair. You know, come to think of it, you know what would be a good number for a woman? 45.
Hillary is so corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission. How corrupt you have to be to get kicked off the Watergate Commission.
Looking back, I've had to listen to Donald for 3 full debates, and he says I don't have any stamina. That is 4.5 hours.
I wasn't really sure if Hillary was going to be here tonight, because I guess you didn't send her invitation by email. Now, if some of you haven't noticed, Hillary isn't laughing as much as the rest of us. That's because she knows the jokes. All of the jokes were given to her in advance of the dinner by Donna Brazil.
And if Donald does win, it'll be awkward at the annual President's Day photo when all the former presidents gather at the White House, and not just with Bill. How is Barack going to get past the Muslim ban?
Hillary has forgotten more things than most of us will ever know.
And the one that got the big groan from the crowd and a lot of boos was when Donald Trump said, and Hillary's here, and she's pretending she likes Catholics. And there was a very loud boo, an extended boo. And you got to wonder, and that was my point earlier, you're going to see in the mainstream media, he was booed. The problem is people in the crowd, these are New York elite.
New York, yep.
And they don't know the story. Because who is covering the story? It's actually a pretty funny joke because he was making a joke about how her communications director, in the Wikileaks accordingly, was making fun of Catholics. That essentially they're back in the Stone Ages and they have to wake up. It's a funny joke if you know the story, but because they don't know the story, because they're not covering the story.
Because they're New Yorkers.
Well, that's right.
Most New Yorkers are Democrats, and they probably watch mainstream media.
The New York Post said the group it draws many of the Big Apple's political, corporate, and media elites. They raised $6 million for Catholic charities, which is great. But I watched it. It was funny. I thought they were both funny. Trump did a nice job. But that crowd came wanting to boo Trump if they could, and they found reasons to, but didn't mean it wasn't funny.
You know, I didn't see Bill Clinton there. Melania was sitting next to Donald Trump, but where was Bill Clinton? We were talking about this while we were watching the montage. We thought something that was funny that you'll see later on in the show too. Donald Trump said, everyone loved the speech when Michelle Obama gave it. And then my wife stood up. He goes, I'm going to get killed when I get home for saying this. My wife stands up to give the same exact speech. And no one likes it.
I don't get it.
You know, but there were some photos that came out, too, obviously, of this. One of which is Cardinal Dolan, who had probably the most interesting seat in the entire House.
No kidding.
If we've got that. They called it the Cardinal Dolan DMZ, in between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. He sat there all night watching them give speeches.
So, anyway, afterwards, what was it like to be between the two of them? Here's the Cardinal.
I had a box seat, of course. And I was very moved by their interaction together around me. They were very friendly, very uplifting, very complimentary to one another. I thought the evening accomplished its goals. You know, humor, that to each his own. It's a matter of taste, so who knows? I'm just happy with the evening. And I'm glad that the church can be in a posture of trying to bring people together in a moment of joy, unity, and civility. Whether it works all the time or not, I'll leave it up to you.
You know, in the last debate, we all said that Chris Wallace, he won the debate.
Sure.
Last night, I think Cardinal Dolan won. I love that man. I wish he were running for president.
Ultimately, who really won? Catholic Charities. They were able to ring up a grand total of, I think, $6 million. And
it all goes to needy children.
It does indeed.
Yeah, it's very cool. But that was not, of course, the only thing that happened yesterday.
Nope.
Donald Trump was on the trail, and we know what came out of this last debate was, will he accept the election results or not? And as he always does, maybe, sort of, possibly. So you know, mainstream media is talking about that, obsessing about it. So Donald Trump, who's great about maximizing the news moment
and doubling down,
said, I have a major announcement. Check in. I've got a major announcement on whether I will abide by the election results. This is what he said yesterday in Ohio.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make a major announcement today. I would like to promise and pledge to all of my voters and supporters and to all of the people of the United States that I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win. Of course, I would accept a clear election result, but I would also reserve my right to contest or file a legal challenge in the case of a questionable result.
And of course, mainstream media, after the debate out in Las Vegas, said, you know, how dare him? And we had Karl Rove on our show yesterday, and also Kellyanne Conway, who said, now, wait a minute. Doesn't anybody remember Al Gore back in 2000? What he did was he refused to concede the election as well, because he demanded a recount to make sure that every vote counted, because he'd heard stories of voter fraud and intimidation. Sound familiar?
Well, Donald Trump has said the system is rigged, and he's saying it's not fair. So does he have a point? Rush Limbaugh, he says this.
Anybody in their right mind knows that Donald Trump was not promising a civil war. He was not promising to blow up the country. He was not promising to not accept the results if he lost. And these people know it, folks. The people stirring this up know full well. Why should he concede that? Why should he foreclose that? Why should anybody running against the Democrats foreclose that? Given what has already happened in this cycle. Given what we've learned from the Project Veritas videos of James O'Keefe, given what we've learned from the Wikileaks email dumps consisting of things from John Podesta, smart thing to do.
He's right. The American people know what Trump was saying. It's the predictable and phony freak out of the elites is what we get every time.
How dare you? It's tradition. Well, tell Al Gore.
All right, let's hand it over to Abby, who has some headlines for us, filling in for Heather
Hey,
this
you
morning.
guys.
Good
Good to
morning.
have you back. I missed you.
Great to be back.
It's good to be home.
We do have some headlines to get to this morning, and starting with this, more pay to play, and this time a multi-million-dollar deal between Hillary Clinton's State Department and Morocco. The latest WikiLeaks emails show Clinton's top advisor Uma Abedin saying, quote, "This was Hillary Clinton's idea. Our office approached the Moroccans and they 100% believe they are doing this at her request." The king has personally committed approximately $12 million, both for the endowment and to support the meeting. Meanwhile, an October surprise could be coming for Hillary Clinton's running mate. WikiLeaks warning on Twitter, we have a surprise in store for Tim Kaine and Donna Brazile. Also happening right now, ISIS opening a new front in the aggressive assault to take the terror group out. You're looking right now live in the northern Iraqi city of Kirkuk at ISIS fighters armed with assault rifles and explosives attacking a compound there. The terrorists trying to divert attention from the fight to retake Mosul. And this, of course, comes as we learn of the first American soldier killed by a roadside bomb, courageously backing up Iraqi forces. Iraqi, Kurdish, and tribal forces making rapid progress hour by hour, now just 6 miles from the center of the second largest city in Iraq. An NSA contractor is accused of stealing enough classified data to fill nearly 200 laptops. The feds say Harold Martin, he is responsible for what could be the largest theft of classified material ever. He was working for the same firm as famed NSA leaker Edward Snowden. The stolen documents include top secret hacking tools that were previously for sale online. Martin will likely be charged with espionage. And that is sadly the future that we face. Those are some of your headlines. See you
No
guys
kidding.
soon.
We have a lot of secrets and need to keep them secret. Thanks,
Thank you,
Abby.
Abby.
Thank you.
All right, have you heard? All white people are racist, period. A teacher is actually teaching that to high school students. We'll tell you where, coming up.
And the debates, they are done. And we are in the home stretch. Yes. the
It's Friday.
states- That's right. The states that Trump and Clinton cannot afford to lose if they want to win. That story's next.
In 18 days, it'll all be over. And 18 days from now, the election and the candidates are in the home stretch and will be focusing much of their attention to lock up some of the important battleground states. But which ones matter the most? Let's talk to Emily Eakin. She is the director of polling at the Cato Institute. She joins us from our nation's capital. Good morning to Emily.
Good morning.
All right, let's start down in Florida. Right now, they are pretty close. According to the Real Clear Politics average, she is ahead 46.8 to 43 within, the margin of error. What's it going to take for Trump to win that?
Well, if you recall, Trump was ahead in the state of Florida just a few weeks ago, so it's definitely winnable for him. He can turn things around. But here's what's going on. Hillary Clinton has inundated the state of Florida with television advertisements. Just to give an example, she has shown 44,000 more campaign ads on TV than Donald Trump has.
Oh my
And
goodness.
political scientists have estimated that has probably boosted her support by about 3 to 4 points, which is the margin by which she leads.
So it looks like you can buy the election TV commercial-wise. Who's in charge of these robocalls, by the way? Because I get one every night when I sit down to dinner. I want them to stop. All the
I have no idea. But honestly, this is a strategic choice. Donald Trump could choose to invest more in television advertising. It's also true in Arizona. Hillary Clinton is basically running an uncontested race on TV, and that's probably why the race is tied in Arizona, even though Romney won the state just 4 years ago.
That's right. Let's take a look at North Carolina. She is ahead just by about 2 points right now. What is the game changer there?
Well, if you recall, Mitt Romney won the state of North Carolina in 2012, so it's also winnable for Trump. But we have not seen much movement in the state of North Carolina. She has pretty much kept that 2-point lead for the past, several months.
All right, and we just were in Nevada, site of the last debate. How about there?
Nevada, we're actually seeing something very interesting happen. Donald Trump is doing disproportionately well in the state of Nevada, and there's a couple of reasons why. Nevada has one of the highest unemployment rates in the country, and many people there feel like the economic recession has not ended there.
Sure.
And there's also a lot of working class white voters, a constituency that Donald Trump's really resonated with.
Okay.
So he can definitely win the state of Nevada, whereas Romney was not able to.
Lightning round, Arizona. She is ahead by about 1.
Yes. That's a state that Romney won by 9 points. Donald Trump should absolutely be winning that state. But like I said earlier, he is not invested in television ads. And that's something he needs to be doing if he really wants to compete with Hillary.
Okay, and ultimately, unless there's a game changer in the last 18 days, it looks like she currently is ahead. What would that game changer be, perhaps?
Well, the game changer would be something very dramatic, like she faints on national television, or one of the sexual assault allegations turns out to be absolutely false. But there's one other game changer that could make all the difference, is the state of Utah. Trump could win, or Trump could lose the state of Utah, and if he does, he would fail to reach the 270 threshold.
All right. Emily, thank you very much for a preview of what happens all across the country 18 days from now. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. What do you think about that? Let us know. Meanwhile, all eyes were on Wednesday night's debate, right? Well, almost. One of the screens on that airliner, not like the others. Carly is here with the trending stories from the debate.
We have some business headlines for you. Buyer beware. You need to listen to this. iPhone chargers, if you buy them on Amazon, they can be seriously dangerous. According to a lawsuit that was filed by Apple, most iPhone and iPad chargers sold online are fake. The company says these cables could catch on fire. They can also electrocute you because they are made poorly.
They want you to buy theirs.
I have bought them online. I'm going to have to
Stop
throw them
doing
away.
that.
All right, cheers to this. Hundreds of Jim Beam employees could be back at work as early as next week if they approve the new union contract today. They've been on strike for the past week. Some employees, they are tired of working 70 hours a week to keep up with production demands. Yeah, wow, they're working hard. And here is something to whine about. The cost of vino is going to go up about 30%. Wine production is down 5% this year, hitting a 20-year low. The reason for that, the weather has spoiled a lot of the grapes around the world.
Global warming.
That's right, but this election cycle has increased consumption. Well, the debates may be over, speaking of presidential debates, but the presidential nominees are still lighting up social media.
They are. So here, lighting up. Our couch is Fox News headlines reporter
Lighting
Carly
up our
Shimkus.
lives.
Thank you.
Good morning to you.
That's so sweet. Now, Donald Trump dropped a bombshell at the debate when he said that he might not accept the election results. But then yesterday, he clarified his statement when he said this.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Love that, right? Yeah. So hilariously, and leave it up to social media, right? That statement has inspired copycats like Reed. He says, I will totally accept the results of the NLCS as long as the Cubs lose. Another person writing, I will totally accept my GPA if I do well.
Oh my God.
And an author, her name's Julia Dahl, she tweeted, I will totally accept the legitimacy of next week's New York Times bestseller list if I'm on it.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's cute.
Now, Pete, earlier when we were talking about the Al Smith dinner last night, mentioned the Cardinal. Kind of like the referee guy
Yeah,
between
could
the two
you
of them.
imagine being Cardinal Dolan last night? He sat between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
What do you do?
All eyes were on him. Talk about being in the hot seat. So this picture is going viral online. Take a look at Dolan's face. He doesn't look like a happy camper. So this picture, like I said, is going viral online. A lot of people saying that he has healing powers, though, because he was able to get Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton to talk to one another.
I would love to know what they're saying right there.
Yeah, I know. If you could only be a fly on that wall, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
At the Waldorf. And finally, we've been doing a lot of airplane travel. Yesterday, I was lucky enough to be on an airplane with television screens, but I didn't notice what people were watching.
So there's a picture going viral online that shows everybody on a Virgin American plane watching the debate. Doesn't that make you proud? Except one TV. Can you spot it? One passenger is watching something else. They're watching
in the second row.
There you go. They're watching the Housewives over the debate. You know, I gotta give this person credit because they're keeping it real.
Wait a minute, that person right there is not watching the debate either.
Well, there's a TV that's off, so that person might be sleeping.
No, the one behind that lady. It looks different than the debate. Look, in the very back, there's Hillary.
Yeah,
right.
And have you ever been on a plane before? Sometimes when I'm on a plane and there's televisions and I'm watching some garbage TV and the passengers next to me is watching like a National Geographic or the History Channel, I'm like, all right, fine, I'll watch it.
Don't judge. Just don't judge me.
Or yesterday, I was like reading a magazine about style in like Us magazine, and then the person next to me was like reading the Wall Street Journal. I'm like, oh.
That's why you got to get the Wall Street Journal, put the magazine in it, so you look smart, but you're still getting all the stuff you want.
I'll do that next time.
I just watched Independence Day on my flight. I just want to watch aliens die.
Yeah. You talked so much politics. I was like, I need some trash.
Right.
I need like the
I need
Us
nothing
magazine
right now.
Exactly.
All right, Carly. Thank you very much. Showing us what's trending online.
Thank you, Carly. Still ahead, chaos in the classroom as one teacher proclaims all white people are racist.
Yeah, wait till you hear about that. Plus, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton try their hands at being comedians.
Many people tell me that modesty is perhaps my best quality, even better than my temperament.
He also talked about his hands. Lauren Green was there and has even more of the one-liners live from New York City on this Friday.
Her largest crowd of the season. We have proven that we can actually be civil. In fact, just before taking the dais, Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me." Oh, this one's going to get me in trouble. The media is even more biased this year than ever before. Michelle Obama gives a speech, and everyone loves it. My wife, Melania, gives the exact same speech. And people get on her case.
There are a lot of friendly faces here in this room. I just want to put you all in a basket of adorables. Donald wanted me drug tested before last night's debate. And look, I got to tell you, I am so flattered that Donald thought I used some sort of performance enhancer. Now, actually, I did. It's called preparation.
Oh, the gloves certainly came off last night at the annual Al Smith charity dinner.
That's right. It got so fiery that even some called it the unofficial fourth debate.
Well, our own Fox News religion correspondent Lauren Green was there. She was squirming at part of it, and she joins us live.
Squirming a little bit because we wanted Trump to really get in the mood of it because, you know, he has a tendency to get a little nasty.
He's a non-traditional candidate.
Exactly, non-traditional, and so you expected a non-traditional performance last night as well. And he was really great up until about like the third of the way through, and then it got a little nasty and people got a little uncomfortable.
Why was that?
Because I think people felt that he crossed the line. One of the things that he directly said that, you know, Hillary Clinton did not like Catholics. And I think that was something that just was a little...
I think he said she was here pretending she liked Catholics, which is a joke because Jen Palmieri, her communications director, had said in Wikileaks that the Catholic Church was behind the times.
And you know, and it was Al Smith IV who diffused that Wikileaks elephant in the room at the beginning when he said, Cardinal Dolan said that if I only had dinner with saints, I would be dining alone.
Yeah. What was the best line of the night?
It was Trump's Melania number. I mean, no one expected that because he's so guarded about his personal life and he's not so much into self-deprecating kind of humor. And when he said that, the room erupted. Nobody could believe that what they had just heard.
So you can learn something from that.
Absolutely. I think he could. And I think the next one that really had the great laugh was when he said about pardon me. And it took a little while.
I bumped into Hillary earlier, and she said, pardon me.
And he said, pardon me. He goes, and it was like, the room kind of like slowly walked the joke. It's like, oh my God, did he just say that?
And the cutaway camera on her showed her reaction. She got the joke first.
One of her most uncomfortable jokes, though, was when she talked about Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, yes.
And talking about, Fox News. I don't know if you have that clip, but I think that was the most uncomfortable. I mean, we were sitting at the Fox table, And we did laugh. But I saw the side shot of Giuliani. And
he did not laugh
laughing.
at all.
But Trump also said it was nice to meet Hillary Clinton's campaign staff, and he pointed at ABC, NBC, CNN, and that was very funny. And that was very funny.
Because it's funny because it's true.
Yeah. That audience was New York elites, right? Were they there ready to cheer?
Oh, it was the highest of the highest. This is the New York elite, not only just politicians, but business people as well. You've got billionaires. I mean,
well, look at the ticket price.
The ticket price, the lowest ticket price is $3,000 for an individual ticket. The tables were $150,000. So
a table is $150,000.
Wow.
Do you get to keep the plates?
No, you don't even get a takeaway gift. You get a little program.
All the money goes to children. But tell folks at home that, like my friends down in South Carolina, don't know who Al Smith is. Will you kind of share some history?
Al Smith was the former governor of New York City. I mean, it was in the 1920s.
Four times.
Yes, but he was the first Catholic to be nominated for the president. And that's a huge deal because, you know, a lot of people felt that a Catholic should not be president because they would be more adherents to the Pope than they would to the American Constitution. So, but he was all about ecumenical harmony, and not only from the people of different religious backgrounds, but also people of different political backgrounds. And the tradition holds that every 4 years, during the presidential election, you have the two candidates square off and come to the dinner and break bread together. And that's very important in terms of a faith value, that breaking bread with somebody diffuses whatever tensions you have.
And it looked like Cardinal Dolan did a nice job with it.
Yeah, it was the chilliest spot in the room, I think, he said, between those two candidates. But you saw at the end they did shake hands. And I think there was a little thawing of the sort of chill between Hillary and Trump at the end.
Well, it was the hottest ticket in the world to be in that room to see what happened. You were there. You were lucky.
Yes, I stood in a very, 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 very long line trying to get into the reception to shake hands, and then it just ended.
Yeah,
and they said, nope, we're done. Yeah.
You have to get there 2 hours early.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. Lauren, thank you very much.
It's wonderful. Thanks so much.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Lauren.
All right. It's 16 minutes before the top of the hour. We've got some quick Friday morning headlines for you. Brand new fears in the battle to take out ISIS. We have just learned the cold-blooded terrorists are now hiding among the refugees, as we heard they might. The brutal terror group's fighters are disguising themselves in many cases as women, covered head to toe in burqas to escape from Mosul. And this Wisconsin man never got his chance to put on a burqa. Joshua Van Haften pleading guilty to trying to join ISIS. He was arrested at a Chicago airport after traveling to Turkey in a failed attempt to cross into Syria. He now faces 15 years behind bars. And the two Americans killed in an insider attack on an Afghan military base now identified. 26-year-old Douglas Rennie, an Army sergeant, and 40-year-old Michael Sorrow, a Defense Department employee, were shot dead by an attacker wearing an Afghan uniform. The gunman killed in the attack. All right, Pete, over to you.
Thanks, Steve. God bless those two men. All right, Donald Trump and his running mate Mike Pence warning that voter fraud could disrupt the election. The Republican ticket now urging supporters to, well, be their eyes and ears on the ground. As it turns out, voter fraud, it isn't really a myth at all. So here to walk us through some of the active voter fraud investigations is Washington Deputy Opinion Editor Kelly Riddell. Kelly, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Pete.
So we're hearing a lot at the presidential level, rigged system, voter problems, and you've got examples state by state. Take Virginia, dead people voting. What have we seen in Virginia?
This is just one town. Harrisonburg, Pennsylvania, found that many deceased people had somehow re-registered to vote this election cycle. The FBI is actually looking into this case, and this is just in one particular city. Also in Virginia, you have 1,046 people, and this was a study that was just done this month, who are illegal aliens that have registered to vote in the state. And that doesn't include, the study doesn't include Fairfax County and Arlington, Virginia, two of the most populous cities in Northern Virginia, really would have turned Virginia blue in recent months.
That's troubling. I only know of one person that has risen from the dead. So 20, that's a problem. All right, Pennsylvania, what do we see there?
In Pennsylvania, you see, and the Secretary of State last year basically said voter fraud is a problem here, in the fact that 700 Pennsylvania people registered in Pennsylvania voted twice. Up to 43,000 people in Pennsylvania are registered to vote twice. So, I mean, that's a huge problem. In Philadelphia, you're also seeing illegal aliens on the voter rolls. 86 were drudged up, and those were only because they self-reported. It's really an honor system here. So when they went to renew their driver's license, somebody at the DMV was like, "Oh, well, I mean, are you legal, illegal? Maybe you shouldn't be voting."
Let me tell you
the
what I
cases
am.
are a lot
Yes.
more. Yeah. Let me tell you. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be voting. So I mean, there's a lot more.
Yeah, that's
tip
the
of
old
the
vote early,
iceberg.
vote often mantra. All right, Texas, mail-in ballots, things like that.
Mail-in ballots. There's this thing called voter harvesting, which basically these fraudsters look at areas where their candidate needs to win or is doing poorly, and so they target nursing homes. They target the elderly. They target African-American communities, Hispanic communities that don't speak English, a lot of underprivileged communities. And what they do is anyone can request a mail-in ballot. So they request mail-in ballots in these people's names and then go door to door and ask them to sign the ballot. Sometimes they do it saying, you lean Democratic, you sign this. Sometimes they do it saying, hey, I'm just looking for a petition for the Boys and Girls Club. Could you sign on the dotted line? And then they mail in those votes. There's an active Texas investigation ongoing into this kind of case.
I'd say that's as crooked and rigged as it gets. One more, Colorado. You know, the left fights back against purging of voter rolls and against voter ID, but I felt the Colorado is such a powerful example of why you might need to do that.
Well, I mean, Colorado, a recent CBS, a local affiliate, turned up dead people on the voter rolls. And you know what's so funny about Colorado is if you look at John Podesta's WikiLeaks emails, as late as last year, 2015, he was complaining that he thought that Barack Obama rigged the Colorado primary in bringing illegal aliens on the voter rolls. It's unbelievable, the hypocrisy here.
Well, yeah, and it makes everyone who votes and votes earnestly feel like their vote might matter a little bit less. And a lot of those states you mentioned, Pennsylvania, Colorado, those are going to be key swing states where the presidency will be decided. So, Kelly, thanks for joining us this morning and illuminating this.
Thanks so much, Pete.
You got it. All right, still ahead, Donald Trump says he will accept the results of this election, but only if he wins. So what's wrong with that? We're reading your comments, and they are pouring in this morning. Plus, the faith-based film about the shooting at Columbine, starring Sadie Robertson, getting a ton of buzz this morning. Sadie and the mother of a victim highlighted in the movie. Join us live. There they are right there with Ainsley, meeting him in the green room, live to talk about standing up for your faith.